Congratulations, we are at the end of the part series, and harmony and peace have been restored to the galaxy. Our robot friends have destroyed the glitch. We can all breathe a sigh of relief thanks to the PARTS protocol and the master machinist, Henry Atlas. There was a lot of great parts to the story, but I think my favorite was the ending scene, where all of these robots who at first really couldn't stand each other came to appreciate, celebrate, and even like each other. Now, think of a time that maybe you worked on a team and you guys either achieved or won something, and you realized right away how much you loved all those people. Wasn't that a great feeling? That feeling is designed by God, and it's the reason why we exist. I remember as a kid, I had this dream, what if I could have my own TV channel one day? All these years later, looking at all the people around me, I realized God made that dream come true, but it was way too big for just me. I needed a lot of help from a lot of talented people all around me. What dream has God given you? Maybe you think it's too big for you, but if God's given you a dream that's really, really big, He probably made it too big for you on purpose because He wants you to rely on the people around you, just like the robots in our story. We also learned that the robots, they faced a glitch, and we face our very own glitch called sin. And sin really just means separation. We just want to isolate and be alone. God's goal for us, His design for us, was always to work together to do things that were bigger than ourselves. We can't do it alone. Alone, we're always going to eventually lose. Together, we will always win. 1 Corinthians 12:26 says, "If one part suffers, all the parts suffer with it. And if one part is honored, all the parts are glad." So I asked you about a big dream that you may have. Well, there's a guy in the Bible who had a pretty big dream, and his name is Paul. Paul's dream was that the entire world would know about Jesus. That was a dream that was way too big for just him. So that's where his friend Silas came in. Now, Paul and Silas, they're going around this place called Philippi, and they're telling people about Jesus. But then suddenly they get thrown in prison. Now you may be like, Pastor Jonathan, I thought you just said we win when we work together. Okay, but this is just the beginning of the story, so just wait. Paul and Silas, they get locked up in this prison, and they decide they're gonna have hope. So what do? They start worshiping. Now, that would have been a little bit awkward, singing in prison, but at least Silas had Paul's back. They were gonna do it together. So they start singing, and God shows up. There's an earthquake, and the walls of the prison start coming down. The chains are loose. All of a sudden, Paul and Silas, they're free. But before they escape, out of the corner of their eye, they see somebody falling into despair. It's the jailer of the prison. He's so upset because he let all the prisoners go free that he's about to fall on his own sword. So Paul and Silas stop because they realize that God's design is for this jailer too. They share the good news of Jesus, and the jailer comes out of his despair and into hope. But not just the jailer. The jailer tells his whole family about Jesus, and they all get baptized that day. See, not only did Paul and Silas go free, they freed the jailer and his family too, because they knew that God's design is to include everybody, as many as possible. Hebrews 10:25 says, "And let us not neglect our meeting together, as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of His return is drawing near." So let me ask you this question right here, right now, at the end of our part series. Who can you include that you haven't been including? What could you share that you've been keeping to yourself? Remember, we are designed to be in community with each other, collaborating to do things bigger than any of us alone. And when we're alone, we're not going to be able to do much. We'll just be able to do what only we can do. But together, there's no limit to what we can do. So let's think of all the things we've learned as we followed our robot characters across the galaxy to stop the glitch. We've learned to be curious about our differences. Differences aren't bad. They're good, and they can make us stronger. We've learned that we can ask for help. It's okay. God's made us to need help. We've learned that we're needed too, and we can serve others with our unique gifts and abilities. We've learned that we each have a special purpose and a specific name, and it's up to us to discover what name God has given us. And finally, we've learned that alone we will eventually lose, but together we will ultimately win. Many parts, one body. I cannot wait to see what God does through you working together.